Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN. This show is brought to you by DraftKings. Tomorrow is day one of the Masters, and a lot of Masters talk in the remaining 2 hours on this program today, including here, starting off this hour, as Jeff Sealey joins the program on the Progressive Guest Line. His podcast is the Cutmaker Podcast. He's on X at Cutmaker. Jeff, good morning, pal. It's your favorite week of the entire year. We'll get into the outrights and the placements coming up in about 15 minutes with you. But let's begin here on how you typically like to build your Masters handicap, the stats that matter to you, the trends that stick out to you and mean something to this, and also why the course history here at Augusta is so important to you.
Yeah, guys, thanks. You're right. It's the best week of the year. Going to be a ton of fun. And to your point, Mitch, I mean, course history is most correlated with success at Augusta National than any other course that the PGA Tour plays on, and it's by a wide margin. So it's critically important to weigh course history when you're building out your handicap here. So when I built out my rankings this week, I began by blending course history with 2024 form. And I included live form for the live guys who were playing. I included the last 6 live events. So I then looked at the odds and built what I called a form to price, or I call it an FTP rating, in an effort to identify guys who have value, stats agnostic. So I started with that. And these ratings were mainly the people you'd expect. Scotty was on top. There was one surprise I'll mention a little bit later. And then I went to my usual statistical model for depending on the course. We use a lot of ball striking stats here. We throw in some short game and putting, which are both critically important at Augusta. And we weigh in some long irons. You're going to see a lot of shots from 175 plus yards here. Interestingly enough, the same surprise golfer who popped up on my form to price rating popped in the statistical rating. So again, it'll be interesting when we talk about bombs later. But I blend my form to price, my ratio, if you will, with some statistical models. And then I came up with just my rankings and how I like my guys for the week. So long story short, it's not your typical approach you would take for a typical week. I would weigh stats far more heavily than I would course form. Course form and current form this week, I gave a 60% weighting as opposed to a 40% weighting for stats.
Okay, very good. So based on all of that and what you just said, let's begin with a bet that you like on guys that you're pretty convinced are going to make the cut and how you want to approach that with a big parlay.
Sure, guys. So again, I look at what I call a course horse make the cut parlay. So I took guys who've been very successful here: Jordan Spieth, Hideki Matsuyama, Patrick Reed, Shane Lowry, Corey Connors, Adam Scott, and Phil Mickelson. Those 4 guys, just to make the cut, 7-player parlay pays $735. So I think that's a real, it's worth, $50, $100. I really like that a lot. And then we had some other, kind of outright stuff. So top debutant, I played Aubert plus 275. He actually graded out number 5 in my form to price rating, which is no surprise given his form coming in. He's been 25th or better in his last 4 events. Anyone who's watched this guy play golf knows he's a superstar in the making. Perfect fit for Augusta. Once he learns his way around here, Aubert will win a green jacket. So I played him at top debutant plus 275. Top Korean, I played Siwoo Kim plus 200. You can find top Asian and top Korean are 2 different markets. I did play Siwoo here. Ben An, Sunjae Im, Tom Kim, all talented players. Siwoo gets the nod. He's finished inside the top 20 3 times this year, including a top 10. And his last 5 trips here, he's finished no worse than 39th and his highest 12th. Best form of any of the Koreans coming in, coupled with solid course history. I like Siwoo here. And then the other nationality prop I played, top Great Britain, Ireland play, Shane Lowry plus 550. This has actually come down and opened at plus 600. I think Lowry's a tremendous play this week. We'll talk more about later.
Okay, excellent. So I also did that with the same bet with top debutante. I also played Matsuyama, and we're on the same page with this too. I couldn't believe the price. What do you want to do here with Mickelson with 2 different markets?
Yeah, so I played Phil, top senior and top lefty. Top senior is a joke. Minus 140 is an insane price, insanely low. I think the price should be, minus 250 probably. And then he's plus 400 top lefty. again, might be a dangerous spot for me, but I'm going to be very, very, very heavily invested in Phil this week, which is always a gamble. But he really does seem rejuvenated since joining Liv, and he's always out to prove something. Like, he's kind of always got an axe to grind, and this is certainly a course where he knows his way around as well as anyone. His form's not amazing, but he did finish sixth at the Liv Jeddah event here in March a little while ago. I believe, though, he'll be 100% prepared for this event. I believe he'll show up and play well. So I am all in on Phil this week.
Did you bet anything in the top Liv finisher? John Rahm at DraftKings is plus 260. DeChambeau is 5-1. Neiman has been in great form much of this year. He's plus 550. Then we get to your guy Brooksy at 6-1, and then it goes down beyond that.
You know, you guys, honestly, I mean, it's really hard to bet, like a Rahm plus 250 in that spot, right?
Yep.
I think if I were going to play somebody in that market, I certainly wouldn't be a big bet, but I would look at a much smaller bet, and I would look at my boy Fat Pat, Patrick Reed, 12-1 in that market, and I think it would not shock me at all for Reed to finish top 5 and win that bet. So I think value-wise, I think the best bet in that market is probably Patrick Reed. Yeah,
he's 12-1. He's the guy that actually. Can you explain that? Like, his history here has been, I mean, super solid for a guy that, he's a little unreliable, I think might be the word. You don't know what you're going to get out of him from week to week, but this guy has been, like, really, really good here at Augusta.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. Obviously, he's a former champion, and there's a lot to like about him. I mean, I bet him, at 80-1 at Caesars. Here's the crazy stat, guys. He leads the field in birdies or better at Augusta National over the last 24 rounds.
Wow!
In this field of all this talent, Patrick Reed leads the field in birdies or better. He finished 9th at Liv Miami event last week, which some people say is a fairly decent comp to Augusta. And he finished 4th, 8th, and 10th in his last 3 trips here. And keep in mind, he won 6 years or so ago. So this is a guy, you talk about a course horse. Patrick Reed's amazing. And the best part is his price is always going to be inflated because people hate betting him. And he's always going to be lower owned than he should be in DraftKings DFS playing, because people hate clicking his name. So you're always going to have – Patrick Reed is always going to be undervalued just because his name's Patrick Reed.
Okay, so the public is actually betting against Tiger Woods to miss the cut here. Now, he had an interview the other day where he said, I mean, every day something hurts and what his body's going through here. So your favorite, and to tie it in again with Phil, your favorite matchup, and Mitch bet this and loves it as well, and it's on the move, is Phil against Tiger?
Oh, it's not even close. And when this first came out, I was debating, trying to figure out where this price would come in at. And, I finally settled into my mind that it would open around minus 150 or so. And then when it came out, I couldn't believe it. I mean, how low it was. I saw, I think 105 initially, then 115, 130. I mean, I would bet this all the way to minus 150. This is by far and away the best bet on the board. Again, Phil's been playing competitively. He's healthy. These guys' games are not even in remotely close to the same spot. I think there's a solid chance Tiger withdraws. I mean, I think his goal is probably to make the cut. I think his 24 consecutive made cuts at the Masters would be the new record. If he can get through and make the cut, we've seen him withdraw from tournaments before. Would not shock me at all to see him withdraw again. So maybe he makes the cut in WDs. I don't know, but man, and you just so much to like about Phil.
Jeff, and we're talking to Jeff Sealey here. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. His podcast is called the Cutmaker Podcast. He's on X at Cutmaker Jeff. Have you noticed any other matchups that stood out to you involving Tiger or Phil, not against each other?
Yeah, actually, I played Phil against Cam Davis. I think plus 168 is the price I got. Again, I'm saying Cam Davis, not Cam Young or Cam Smith, but Cam Davis, fine young talent. But again, I look at Phil and we go back to course history, course form, everything else. I think Phil's a good play against some of the younger guys who just don't have as much experience, especially you're getting them at a really good price. And if I can get plus 150 or better on Phil in any matchup, I'm probably going to take it.
Forget the odds for a second. What's more likely to happen over the course of the tournament? No hole-in-one, or we get a playoff on Sunday?
Wow, what's more likely to happen? I think playoffs probably more.
Yeah. So we're going to get a hole-in-one. Well, I think we lost Jeff.
It's minus 260.
Yeah.
At DK.
We're going to reconnect with Jeff because we've got to get his outrights and other placements. Yeah, coming up.
You can bet will it happen on Sunday. That's plus 110.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You can also bet will there be 2 or more hole-in-ones. That's available. But that's, as we've talked about, it happens.
2 or more.
It happens every year.
It does.
Especially on Sunday and usually on that on the back nine. And sometimes we've had 2 on the same hole, same day.
How about this? This is at DraftKings. Will any player be bogey-free over 72 holes? The yes is 150 to 1.
Wow.
That is a mad bomb for a reason.
Yeah. There's some good stuff up there. You know,
there's
instant gratification. What will Tiger do on the first hole?
Mm-hmm.
Will he play a first round bogey free?
Does he miss the fairway?
Yep.
Does he hit the fairway?
Yep. And I'm going to tell Jeff he's got to get off Koepka this week. Just this week. Because I thought you saw
You got a reason for it?
Yeah, because he's playing with Brian Harman. And he's going to lose his mind when he sits there and he wiggles 14 times before he hits his tee shot every time.
All right, so
he's
next,
going to lose his mind.
We're going to reconnect with Jeff Sealey. We'll get his outright winners, the one golfer he thinks who will win the tournament, other placement bets, and big name fades this week at Augusta next here on VSiN.
Limited time offering 2 weeks of our exclusive betting splits for free. Just sign up, vsin.com/splits. It's updated with DraftKings odds every 5 minutes. You can check out future events as well. Take advantage, limited time offer, vsin.com/splits. Claim your free 2-week access to the betting splits.
All right, we continue here with Jeff Sealey, Cupmaker Podcast. He is on the Progressive Guest Line talking about the Masters. He's on the Progressive Guest Line, and we'll get to his outrights here in a minute and his pick to win overall. First off, you said how you're going to fade Tiger in this tournament, specifically against Lefty. Who are some other big-name fades that you have this week, Jeff?
Hey, guys, so Tyrrell Hatton has flat out said he doesn't like playing here, and he doesn't think it's fair. Finished 34th, 52nd, 18th, miscut, 56th, 44th, and miscut. We talked about course form. He has reverse course form. It's not good. So, I mean, I look at a guy, and if there's anybody who will let a golf course get in their head and tilt him, it's Tyrrell Hatton, right? So I'm going to be actively fading him. And then another guy I'm going to be fading this week who lost it for Koepka with his slow play last year is Patrick Cantlay. Irons have looked awful the past 2 weeks. Lost over 5 shots on approach over his last 2 events. 14th, 39th, miscut, and 17th is pretty good course form, but I'm off Cantlay at this price relative to his form, so no play for me there.
I bet 3 guys for first-round leader the other day. They're some of them are bigger names. I bet Scheffler 12 to 1. They're also like their first-round scores are so good this year. I bet X-Man at 22 to 1, and I bet Shane Lowry at 45 to 1. Who do you like in that market?
Yeah, 2 guys I like a lot, first-round leader this year. One is Justin Rose. Justin Rose always seems to get off to a good start, and he is number 2 in this field, and birdies are better at Augusta over the past 24 rounds. I mentioned Patrick Reed was first. Justin Rose is actually second. So I think he's a very interesting first-round leader play. And another guy who's played well here is in really good form coming in, and I could see get out to a hot start is Russell Henley. He's another guy you might look at for a first-round leader.
All right. Give us the list of names that you like that are considered bombs here. Let's go triple digits or higher.
Sure. So first thing, guys, I've been giving him out for a year on this show, and I mentioned him 6 months ago at 300 to 1, Sepp Straka. Simply a bet on talent. Guy who's played here, finished 30th 2 years ago, proven he can perform well in a major when he finished runner-up at last year's Open. 16th at the Players a month ago. He's 180 to 1. I think Sepp Straka's worth some pizza money there. Nick Taylor, 200 to 1 on DK, plus 300, top 20. Won in Phoenix in February. and followed up with 2 more top 25 performances in his next 3 events. Finished 29th here in 2020, so he has some experience. I like Nick Taylor, plus 300, top 20. Makes for an interesting matchup against Jaeger as well at plus 105. And then I mentioned a guy who popped in both of my models earlier, and that's Chris Kirk, who's 130 to 1. Won earlier in 2024, 14th in my statistical model, 8th in the form model. Adds up to my 9th best overall play on the board and a clear value at anyone over 100 to 1. I like Kirk as well in a matchup over Keegan Bradley at minus 120. So those are the bombs.
Okay. I said it earlier. You got to get off Koepka here. So I know you bet him every single major, but I'm very concerned now being paired in the first 2 rounds with Harman. How concerned are you with that, with the slow play and the wiggle?
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't disagree. I'm also concerned with this putting. It's been flat out awful. Since last July, he's lost an average of 2.5 strokes putting. He just switched to a new putter. I mean, the only thing from stopping that and Harman are the only thing stopping me from really betting more on him. I'm betting Koepka. I'm going to bet him again. I always do. But if there's anyone who can overcome these things, it's Brooks Koepka. What I think will be really interesting to see, guys, is where he is at the end of the day on Friday when he is, most likely not playing with Harman anymore. I think it'll be interesting to see who he gets paired with going into the weekend. Because certainly we know Koepka can make a run, and it wouldn't surprise me there. So keep an eye on him live if his putting is decent and he survives 2 rounds with Brian Harman. One other guy I like that's kind of 50 to 1 range, Cam Young, I think is a phenomenal top 10 play.
Okay.
I don't know if he can win, but I think top 10 at plus 350 or better has yet to close out a tournament on the tour, and I don't know that Augusta is the place for him to get his first win. But 3 top 10s in his last 6 events coming in, and 7th here last year. As good a ball striker as there is, plus 350 top 10 on Cam Young is really interesting. Maybe the most popular pick to win this week, for good reason, is Hideki, 22 to 1 or so. Simply on fire. Won the Genesis, 12th at the API, 6th at the Players, 7th at Valero. Won here in 2021. His last 3 rounds here, otherwise, he finished 16th, 14th, and 13th. Hideki top 20 minus 130, I think is amazing value. And guys, John Rahm was 8 to 1 here last year. He was 8 to 1 last year. He was the favorite. Now he's 12 to 1. It feels like a decent price. Since going to Live, Rahm is the only player to finish in top 10 in all 6 events. And here he's finished 1st, 27th, 5th, 7th, and 9th in his last 5 trips. Rahm is plus 120 or better to play top 10. I think that's the way to play Rahm this week. And then lastly, Scotty. I think if you're going to play Scotty, you play him top 10, which feels like a mortal lock, and you parlay that with something else. In my case, I did a Scotty top 10 parlayed with UConn money line for the national championship game, and ended up being at 109. So I think that's the way I'm approaching Scotty this week.
Are you concerned at all with Scotty Scheffler and or Sam Burns, because this came out last night? Both of their wives are expecting babies. I think that's off a little bit into the future here, maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now. But if it happens early, both guys have already said they're going to leave the tournament to go be at the hospital with them.
Yeah, I mean, is it nothing? It's certainly not nothing. I'm not doing anything with Sam Burns to begin with, so that doesn't really concern me. And in terms of Scotty, yeah, I mean, I guess a little bit, but again, I'm not going to be super heavily invested in Scotty as it is, just due to the value. So it's certainly something to consider. While it's not likely, it's not impossible. But yeah, Sam Burns is just a plain pass for me anyway, and Scotty, I'm just investing a little in.
Imagine it's Saturday afternoon.
That is outrageous.
And Scheffler has a 6-stroke lead. He gets the phone call.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to put it up on the jumbo board, right? Because no cell phones at Augusta.
Yeah.
Hey, Scotty, your wife's in labor. See ya.
Yeah. Look, I mean, crazier things have happened. I was just a few weeks ago. My buddy Eric Barnes was playing in San Antonio, and they had to come out in the course and tell his caddy that his wife had to have emergency surgery, and his caddy left with 2 holes left to play, and he had to find a new caddy like the next day. So like these things can happen. Things happen, right? Mm-hmm. So especially when your wife's pregnant, 2 weeks wouldn't be crazy early. So anything can happen, and it'd be a surprise, but certainly not a shock.
Overall, who is your pick to win?
Guys, I'm picking Shane Lowry to win, 50 to 1. I bet Lowry top 10 at plus 320. I bet him top Great British, Irish, top Euro, top 20, everything. Lowry has 2 top 5s and a 19th in his last 3 events. Form is really, really good. Last 4 trips to Augusta has finished no worse than 25th, and he finished 3rd here in 2022. We know he has the chops to win a major. He won the Open at Royal Portrush. The forecast for rain and wind the first 2 days fit perfectly into Shane Lowry's game. I know he's a little bit up the board, 50-1. Give me Shane Lowry to win the 2024 Masters.
Very good. That was awesome, man. Tremendous notes. Great analysis. You can follow Jeff Sealey on X. He's at Cutmaker Jeff. He joined us here in the Progressive Guest Line, and listen to his podcast as well. It's the Cutmaker Podcast. Jeff, thanks so much for the time as always, and good luck this week.
Thanks, fellas.
Yep.
Well done.
There you go.
Can't wait.
Shane Lowry.
And the markets are great, too. Everything you can bet, everything imaginable.
I'm going through the DraftKings website right now, and it's one thing after another where you can't even keep up with how many options they have. I don't mind that. Will we get more than one hole-in-one?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty decent.
Like a little more than that, but that's, not a bad price.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who wears the pants in that relationship, but that's... The wife should understand. How many times can you be in position to win the Masters? If you're a busy bee and hop on the good foot and do the bad thing, you can knock out as many kids as you want. I would think. Can you imagine that? And what it means for in-play betting.
Yeah.
Where if the phone call comes in, hello, bun in the oven. I got to leave, guys. I'll see you later. There goes the 5-shot lead.
I wonder here how much say the mother, really has. Or is it the golfer making the decision on his own, saying that this is more important than winning the Masters?
We're not playing for milk and cookies either. This is a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know.
Another one.
I don't know their partners, obviously. I can't imagine that they would say, you have to be with me at the hospital rather than the Masters.
Yeah.
I think that they would probably understand what this event means.
Yeah. And I guess it's a difference, too, between Scheffler and Burns. But, I mean, if you're Sam Burns, how many times are you in this position?
No, I know.
You're the Masters leader.
I would also argue the other way that Scheffler's legacy has a chance to be his ceiling. Who knows what he could go down as in 30 years?
Yeah.
20 years, whatever that number might be.
Yeah.
But also, we're hardcore sports nuts, and
I'm anti-kids. I know, but that's
the family stuff comes second. All right, big NBA card up next. We have one of the biggest games of the entire year on the schedule tonight. We'll get into it coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Very important NBA card tonight. Biggest game of the regular season is on the board. Minnesota's playing at Denver. Both teams played last night. Minnesota was at home. Denver was in Utah. This is their 4th meeting. When you go back and currently speaking on the board, Denver is either a 5.5 or a 6-point favorite in this game tonight. They played very early on in the year, November 1st in Minnesota. Nuggets were 2. Total was 220.5. Wolves blew them out 110-89. They played twice in March. One on the 19th, also in Minnesota. Nuggets were 7.5. Denver won 115-112. Joker had 35, 16, and 2. No Reed, Gobert, or Cat for the Wolves in that game. Edwards had 38 and 8. And then they played March 29th in Denver. Nuggets were 3. Minnesota won that game 111-98. No Murray in that game. Joker had 32, 10, and 5. What do you make of the number tonight?
Yeah, well, I'm concerned about the status of Gordon, but this is also not only the 1 seed on the line, but I would think if Minnesota wins this game, it's hard not to give Finch Coach of the Year. Now, he's sitting there at 4-1, but again, these made-up markets, Dagnout is a $3 favorite. If these guys get the 1 seed and Cat misses all this time, I mean, to me, Finch has got to win
probably
Coach of the Year. So at DraftKings, Denver's minus 240 to win the division. Now, Minnesota still has a game Sunday at home against Phoenix, which could be a lot on the line, too. But the winner of this game should get the 1 seed. I think it's a little too many points. But then again, Denver had an easy time of it last night. Minnesota going through the motions, and they were down big against Washington before Ant took over and had 51. And then, where was Gobert last night? Washington had 94 points through 3 quarters.
Yeah.
What happened?
I guess that was looking back, that's the definition of a look-ahead game.
Yeah.
But also Reed got kicked out, ejected with the elbow right away in the contest. And they were down by 20 plus in the first quarter. And then they came back, and it was a game at halftime before they eventually won the game.
Yeah, I'd take the points. Because then it comes down to it means so much for Minnesota and their franchise because they've only one time in their history they've made it out of the first round.
Yeah, that was the only year, right? In 2004, they were the 1 seed, and they went to the Western Conference Finals.
That's it. Every other year, 12 times they made it, I think, and it's been a first-round exit the 11 times. And then you still worry about, hey, well, we're the champs, and we'll just turn it on when the playoffs are here and don't worry about it and how much. But still, I would think the 1 seed is a big deal. It's like, okay, now the championship goes through us. Good luck. But I would take the 6.
Yeah. I think it's too many as well. I can't get over the players from last year, the Nuggets, when they won the championship. They looked back, they were reflecting on their playoff run, and they said the Wolves gave them their most difficult series. And the fact that Minnesota again, beat them twice this year, 110-89 and 111-98.
Yep, and Gordon's a good player.
He's,
great
absolutely
defensively.
He is.
It means a lot to that team.
Yep. I'm not sure exactly how healthy Jamal Murray is either.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had several injuries now, and that's not just for tonight. That means, like, playoff run as well for the Nuggets this year. Have you done anything yet with the Magic and the Bucks? And right now on the board here, it's either a pick'em or the Magic a 1-point favorite.
Nope, no opinion. And again, this goes back to what we discussed yesterday. Orlando could be the 2. Orlando could be the 8. And when you look at the updated numbers now, to participate in the play-in, Orlando is plus 180. They could lose out. Tough loss last night. You still have 2 left against Milwaukee. And we'll see if maybe it's gloomy Gus with the Bucks, or they come out and say, oh, we're going to prove you wrong, and we shall have a ton of talent on this team, which they do. But, you know, it's not an Achilles with freak. It's a calf, and rehab will determine how much time he misses. I have no opinion here. This is a tough game.
They have played twice this year. Again, the first time they played very early on, November 11th. That was in Orlando. The Bucks were laying 2. Total was 227. No Damian Lillard in that game. Orlando blew them out. The second time they played was right before Christmas in Milwaukee. Bucks were 8.5. Total was 238.5. That's back when the Bucks were playing in all these super crazy high-scoring games. The Bucks won that game 118-114. No Suggs for the Magic in that game. Freak had 37-10.
I don't know if the organization steps in or maybe Milwaukee sits people, but I would much rather be the 3 than be the 2 seed and take on either Philly or Miami. I mean, and then I might not have Freak. That's a possibility. I mean, I guess as a competitor, you want to say, give us Miami again, but would you want to really see Embiid and Maxey?
Who's going to land at the 6 then? Who do they get at the 6?
I don't know.
Because
depends what happens Friday with Indiana going to Cleveland.
I was going to say, you don't want to play Indiana as the 6.
Oh, they have your number.
Oh, Indiana.
That's another one.
They've owned him this year.
They have.
So that's another team. They're not coming out of the East this year. It's not their year.
But I would think I would want the 2. But then again, it's you want to take on Embiid. They're not a true 7. What that could be, and it looks like Philly will play Miami in that 7-8 game.
So is there a chance that the Eastern Conference could be a little bit more open than we think, because the Celtics have such a huge lead, and the way that they're treating this down the stretch where they don't know what to do with their players? Certain guys are missing every single game. It's like a strange combination. Like, you figure out who's going to miss the next game, and then, okay, we're going to get out to a 15-point lead and then pull everybody, or we're going to be buried and really not care about the game against the Bucks like they did last night.
I still think a healthy Milwaukee team can challenge Boston. I think it's a tough matchup for Boston. And how do you trust the Celtics late in a close game with their hideous offense and the stuff they run or don't run in the last 3 minutes? And I still think the Knicks are going to give them problems. It hasn't gone well for them this year in the regular season, but look at their record with OG. It's too bad what happened to Randall, but the way Hart and DiVincenzo were playing, I mean, and Brunson going for 40 every game?
Let me add 2 more teams to the mix. Can you see, with a healthy Joel Embiid, can you see the Sixers giving the Celtics a run? They did last year. Easily could have won that series.
No, I can't do it.
And now there's no James Harden, and you have Nick Nurse. Yeah. I think they can. I think you can give them a run again. Although the Celtics this year are clearly better than they were last year. Then what about the Heat?
I think they beat them in 5. I don't think they would. I don't think they can do it this year.
Clear coaching mismatch.
No. Yeah.
Right? That's all one-sided for Spoelstra. I mean, on paper, the Celtics are, again, head and shoulders above all these teams.
Yeah, that was so embarrassing last year. What happened?
What if they play? What if all these games against Miami are tight though, based on what you just said?
Yeah.
You can't count on Boston to draw something up good in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Turns into hero ball crap.
Yeah.
And not who they are.
Well, $1.20 to win the conference for a reason. I just think
they should.
Miami would have a tough time, and plus you'd be coming off the play-in games. Boston should be able to get the first. Boston's so good at home. That's the thing. What, they only lost 3 home games a whole year? So the home court advantage is a big deal as well, in the addition of Porzingis and how well White's playing. I'm going down with the ship. I'm taking the Suns. They're laying 3 in Los Angeles, which I know the Clippers have so much depth, and they could just come out and other guys can go off and strengthen numbers, and the Suns up to 4 now, let go of the rope. But what was that last night? I can't believe it. It's 35-4. But, again, just you're right, must win doesn't mean must bet. But the Clippers now have everything wrapped up. They have the division. They're going to host, they're going to play Dallas in the 4 or 5. They don't have home court advantage anyways, in terms of hardly any fans and a huge following. So I guess it doesn't matter if it's the 4 or the 5 what they get. And the Suns got to get out of this play-in situation and know how things have changed here now. To participate in the play-in, the Suns are minus $3. Their last 3 games are on the road. Following this, they go to Sac and they go to Minnesota. So you got a shot here with your ticket.
I bet the Suns minus 3 during the commercial break. You can still find 3s available.
If they get you, they get you.
As you said, they're up to 4 now at DraftKings, so this is going to be another example of trying to follow the money tonight. I know it moved big time last night based on who was sitting for the Clippers, but I like what you said. You're going down with the ship.
It's an absolute embarrassment if this team is in the play-in. And imagine if they can't even make the playoffs with their payroll, and you trade for Durant and then you bring in Beal. I mean, it was...
What does the team look like next year?
Yeah, they were referred to as a big 3.
I hate that.
It was right.
Getting Bradley Beal, sure. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I love Booker. A lot to love there. But overall, they have been one of the most... I know they're 13 games, but if you look at the record ATS this year, they have not met expectations. They've been one of the worst teams against the spread the entire season. Mm-hmm. And to come out of the gates last night at home again... That I don't even, man, that's as bad as it gets in the NBA. You're down by 31 points right away.
Yep. I'll give you all the updated numbers. To participate in the play-in, Philly minus 260, Miami minus 230, Orlando plus 180, Pacers plus 250. The West, Sacs minus 1,400, Suns $3, Pelicans plus 145. And then division now, Milwaukee's $1.05. Pacers are 11-1. The Pacers can do this. Orlando minus 260, Denver minus 240. So much on the line, we have 3 games left. Madness.
Oh, yeah.
Chaos. The possibilities on the final day, Sunday.
The sport never used to be like this.
No. Nope. And again, we're talking about good. Look at the records. Again, the Lakers are the 9 seed. Yep. They're 10 games over 500.
We have an early edition of in-pocket plays, what we're betting, adding more of today, coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. Nope. 5-1. Nope. 10-1. You're on.
Split. Winner, Heat money line, which, by the way, I forgot, was a horrible beat. The under went over because of double overtime in that game. So the Heat get the big win. The game tonight against Dallas is for the win total because they close with Toronto. And then it's hard to be down 30 points in the first quarter. You got to try hard to do that. They cut it to 7, but I don't know what that was in the first quarter out of the Suns. All right, to all the new plays. Papa's got a brand new bag. Phil Mickelson, top senior, $1.40. I'm with Jeff Sealey on this one. Top debutante, Aubert, plus 275. Top Asian, Matsuyama, plus 140. Hole in one, round 4. Round 4, yes, plus 110. You want to bet it for the tournament, it's like $260. It's $2 here, it's $260 at other spots. Don't love the pairing here with Harman, but I thought this was not top live golfer, Koepka 6-1. I'll bite. Trust Brooksy here in the majors. Back on the horse today. Good to be back. League One. Peterborough United over 2.5. Heavy juice minus 190, but it's a 33-5 overrun. Peterborough matches over 2.5 goals. Edmonton Oilers $1.20 against VGK, and the Suns laying 3 against the Clippers. Eclectic mix as always. I bet a little Cam Young too, and I also have Schauffele at 14-1, which that probably won't go well. And I'll be regretting that bet by Thursday afternoon.
Possibly. Let's say
Yes.
Friday, because I got him first round.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So when I was looking around in the top 20 markets the other day, the best number I could find was Willie Z at plus 120. He was minus money at several books. So I grabbed plus 120 to go top 20. Then Circa opened up their top 20. Hello, plus 175.
Hello.
Added more of that. The best golf numbers in the world are going to be found at Circa. I'm with you. I don't even know. I think I might just not even try to stay up and watch the game tonight because I don't want to have nightmares and I don't want to be pissed off and get no sleep. I'm going to bet the Suns. I did during the break, like you, -3 against the Clippers. Turn off the TV, go to bed, put the phone down, not even pay attention, and hopefully wake up a winner. Otherwise, I won't be able to deal with it, and I'll need 9 more coffees tomorrow morning. The Clippers clinched last night, right? It's a little anti-clinching.
Well,
it's a little bit of.
How about the move on the game?
Yesterday?
3.5 up to 9.5. No
Well,
hard, no Kawhi. And
why would the Clippers play anybody tonight? You think Kawhi's going to come back?
No. No sense in playing.
There's no reason.
Stupid.
Yeah, you clinched last night. You're okay.
Yep.
Take a couple of more days off. Get ready for the postseason. And bam, there we go. So Suns -3. First round leader, smaller unit bets. The 3 that I bet earlier in the week. These 3 golfers have extremely strong numbers in first round play this year. Scotty Scheffler, I know it's chalk, don't care, 12-1. There's a chance, small chance, that come Friday afternoon, Saturday, we're talking about this guy with a fairly large lead at the Masters, the way that he's playing. Like he had a couple years ago when he eventually won. He's that good. Might run away and hide. So 12-1 on him. Added Xander, very good in the first round, 22-1. And Shane Lowry, strong, first round. That's, by the way, if you missed any Jeff Sealey half an hour ago, Shane Lowry is his pick to win the Masters. I bet first round leader 45-1 on him.
I respect it. Action-packed fight card taking over Las Vegas UFC 300. DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the UFC, giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly. Download the app, promo code VEASAN when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, crown is yours. Producer Luke pointing out Joe Flacco missed the birth of his kid, played a Week 3 game. So he goes, no, I'm not going. I'm playing the game. So this is wild what could happen with this Scheffler and Burns story if they said they're going to leave the tournament.
Yeah, as it was pointed out to us as a reminder, and I knew this going in, Scotty Scheffler is extremely religious. Like when we were talking about that, that's you and I talking right now, 10 minutes ago. Like we're sports freaks. Like if we're having a kid, okay. Like
to me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think there would be an understanding here that it's the Masters and I'll stay and play.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be different though.
Yeah.
But I mean, could you imagine Scotty with a 6-shot lead Saturday? Oh, sorry, got to go.
I know what it
That'll
does
do
to
it
the
for me.
in-play. Or if the rumor starts trickling out there. All right, it's go time. Okay.
I also, like this tournament is a fun one to bet, right? Because it's on the board for 12 months. You also need to be a little bit careful. I say that because I have like 9 guys to win. And you can grab good numbers, what you think are good numbers throughout the entire year. And then by the time the Masters rolls around, what was good 3 months ago might be kind of bad now. Like last year, for example, Hovland was setting the world on fire. And
yeah, I'm very concerned here.
So I grabbed him 24-1 and came on the air, and the number was going to go away. He got all the way down to 14-1. Now nobody wants to make the case for him, and why would they? He's not playing well.
Tinkering with the swing.
Sure.
Not good. Spieth, wrist, not good. Thomas, changing caddy, not good. There's so many guys I would just throw out, and I'm concerned, and I got to be concerned with Koepka early too.
Yep. So
with the pairing, based on how his comments, he can't stand slow play, and Harman will drive him nuts. And the other one too, you got that tweet, Luke. So you went on the pointing out a lot of stuff about when this happens and going back in history. How about when you have that late Thursday tee time and come back early Friday? 8 of the last 10 winners have been in that. So when you look at the tee times, who that fits with guys who go off late tomorrow. Who that could point to. Each of the last 18 winners have also been tied for 11th or better after round 1.
Big.
I think Tiger was one time was 33rd after round 1.
Okay.
But going back down, that is wild. That's a Justin Ray tweet. So you got a lot of stuff here about going back with history.
That's going to be potentially good for grabbing somebody you don't have in play then, right? If they're sitting there top 10, top 11 at the end of Thursday, and there might be a big number on a guy out there, and okay, I don't have any of him, I can still grab him at that point. But, when you might have some bad numbers like I do with Hovland, you can also get some decent numbers. I don't have 125 or 150 to 1 on Wyndham Clark like some people do to win this. I got 60-ish to 1 on him. So that's a number that I'm happy to have from betting, this tournament throughout the entire year. You're going to have some that you like, you're going to have some that you don't like. And with this, being on the board for the entire year, that's the way it's going to work if you're going to be betting it, going all the way. Well, I think the first bet that I made to win this year's Masters must have been last July, probably, something like that. In the summertime.
All right.
So it's like betting the Super Bowl. I do have that ticket with Scheffler. I parlayed him when he was plus 650 with UConn at 5-1 to win the national title. It was something we brought up on the air. When again, is this going to be the year of the chalk in basketball and in golf? Scheffler was winning every tournament or with a chance to win every single tournament. So that was one of the bets that I made. Who knows? Very difficult to win this event. It's almost impossible to repeat. And Rahm then 8-1 last year as the closing number, won it, goes over to Liv. Now he comes back and he's 12-1. I don't want a piece of him though. I can't do it.
What would you serve at on the menu if you won?
I'll tell you what. I went to Joe's Stone Crab Seafood and Prime Steak at Caesar's Palace last weekend. Now, I consider myself somewhat of a halibut connoisseur. Went to Alaska twice. Halibut fishing. It's the best fish in the world, in my opinion, that I've ever had.
Love halibut.
The problem is, now that spoiled me, I can't find decent halibut in Las Vegas or any other spot because Alaskan halibut is so good. Joe served a bone-in halibut fillet. It's on the menu now. I cannot possibly tell you how good this thing was. We went there last Friday. I took one bite. Yeah. I told Lorraine, I'm coming back here to get it again before it's off the menu. It probably was the best piece of fish I've ever had. So I'm starting there. If it's possible, bone-in halibut fillet.
If you're ever down by the Strip, that's a good move pickup. But then again, with the traffic down there, that's hard to navigate.
I know.
But
what are you going to go with?
I got to go.
Cheesecake?
That's a tough call. Yeah.
We'll call it good?
I did the best halibut I ever had. I took Sean to the top of the Eiffel Tower restaurant.
Okay.
It was unbelievable.
Oh.
But that's, probably cheesecake, deep fried Oreos.
Coke.
Caesar salad.
Yeah. And we'll see you next year.
That's it, guys. Hot dog. Yeah.
Hot dog, no ketchup, mustard.
Portillo's. We'll get the chocolate cake shake. We'll be like the Golics. We'll cater in Portillo's.
Going to go with the hot beef, sweet peppers, and It's a good question. I would have to think about it for a long time, actually. Jensen Lewis on the program coming up next. Do we need to dial back all future bets with starting pitchers getting hurt faster than you can keep up? We'll ask him next here on VSiN.